Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to dig into a really weird, kind of counterintuitive idea, how the very act of getting bigger, of scaling up, can actually make our world, well, less interesting. How it can flatten out all the cool, nuanced details into one boring, straight line.
All right, let's jump right in. Picture this. You're at a party, and you've got two choices, pizza or ice cream. Now, if you've already downed, say, 5 slices of pizza, that 6th slice probably isn't looking so great. But that first scoop of ice cream? Suddenly, that's what you want. You crave variety, right? That simple little choice actually tells us something huge about economics and how we value things.
So, economists actually have a name for this. They call it the indifference curve. It's basically a graph that shows all the different combos of two things, like pizza and ice cream, that would make you equally happy. And the most important part? It's a curve. That bendy shape is literally a picture of your brain saying, yeah, a mix of both is better than a whole lot of just one thing.
And that curve, that's you. It's what economists call your context. It's a snapshot of your unique taste, what you've already had, what you're in the mood for. It's what makes your choices human, you know? It's what makes them interesting.
Okay, so what happens when we take this simple, personal choice and blow it up to a massive scale? Well, this is where things start to get weird. This is how that beautiful personal curve starts to break and how personal taste gets turned into cold, hard, impersonal assets.
The whole way of thinking about choice just gets twisted and warped by the sheer pressure of scale. The person making the choice isn't a consumer anymore. They're not driven by taste or appetite. No, they become a manager, and they are driven by something totally different, pure, simple exchange value.
And this slide just lays it out perfectly. A small real estate firm, they might really care about the unique history of a house, its cool architecture, the fact that it's on a quiet little street. But a huge firm that's managing thousands of properties, they stop caring about all that. They only care about two things. What's the market price, and how fast can we sell it?
So why does that happen? It all comes down to a concept called information asymmetry. Basically, when you're dealing with a massive number of things, it just gets way too expensive and takes way too much time to know all the little details about every single one. The tiny benefit you might get from knowing a house has original crown molding is nothing compared to the massive cost of tracking those details for thousands and thousands of homes. It's just not worth it.
And this massive shift in thinking, well, you can actually see it. It has a real visual impact. That elegant personal curve we started with gets totally flattened into what the source calls the straight line of exchange. It's where all that wonderful variety just gets smushed down and commoditized.
And here's where it becomes crystal clear, even if you're not a math person. That utility function, the math behind our personal taste, it literally changes shape. It goes from that complex, curved formula that represents our appetite to a super simple, straight line equation that just cares about market value. Your personal context, that curve, it's gone. It's just a straight line.
The source material has this absolutely perfect term for what's going on. It's called contextual cannibalization. How great is that? It means that the unique context of something, its story, its special features, what makes it, it gets eaten alive, cannibalized, by the system's need for everything to be simple, tradable, and easy to value.
So the technical term for this is that the marginal rate of substitution becomes constant. But what that really means is the system starts treating everything as perfectly interchangeable. As long as two houses have the same price tag, the system sees them as the exact same thing. A historic home in Phoenix and a brand new build in Atlanta, if the price is the same, they're perfect substitutes. All that nuance, just poof, gone.
Okay, so this all sounds a little depressing, right? If big systems just naturally erase what makes things special, can we do anything about it? Well, maybe. This leads us to a new idea, a framework for nuance, a way to actually push back against that flattening straight line.
One proposed solution is something called a lexicographic valuation framework. Now, I know that sounds super complicated, but the idea behind it is actually incredibly simple and, frankly, kind of brilliant. It's all about what you decide to look at first. So here's how it works. Instead of starting by asking, what's it worth, you just flip the order of operations. Step 1 becomes asking the qualitative questions. Is this thing special? Is it a historic landmark? Does it have some unique quality we want to protect? And only after you've established that do you move on to step 2 and ask, okay, now what's its market price? It's a simple switch, but it changes everything.
All right, let's bring this all back home. Because this isn't just a fun thought experiment about big companies. This whole idea forces us to ask a really important question about our own lives. Are you just a number?
And here is the gut punch. The source makes this powerful connection. That massive portfolio of thousands of houses, it's perfect analog for the millions or even billions of users on a giant online platform. Each one of those houses is like one of us.
So this raises a huge, very personal question for all of us. When a platform grows to 1 billion users, does your unique context, your individual tastes, your specific opinions, what makes you you, does it just get flattened out? Does the system stop seeing you as a person and start seeing you as just another data point, a perfect interchangeable substitute for the user right next to you?
And that leaves us with a challenge. We have to consciously, deliberately, build our big systems, our platforms, our companies, our institutions, to fight against this flattening effect. We need to create models that intentionally put a ridiculously high value on individuality, just to make sure that all the messy, beautiful human details don't get swallowed up by the straight line of scale. The question we have to ask ourselves is, are we doing that?